To all parents, grandparents, friends, and all our well-wishers. We are truly appreciate your great efforts to join us. I am very happy to mention that this is our fourth year. This is our fourth year in our journey together. I would like to invite Mr. Narayan Yamgar, who is grandfather of Shubhra and Mallar. Mr. Yamgar, please come. I request him to lighten the lamp and start the program. Thank you, sir. He is a grandfather of Shubhra and Mallar, as well as he is a retired teacher also. So we are really thankful to having him. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Suha, Zui and Sani for Ganesh Vandan. Thank you, children. Bedrock School always provide different opportunities to learn. One of our after-school classes is Classical Bharatanatyam dance class by Bhagyashri Thorat teacher. She is an excellent professional Bharatanatyam dancer. I would like to call one of her students, Shubhra, from grade 8, to perform her dance. Just to have a look at the year that went by. We started this year 23-24 with double enthusiasm like last year, and so were our students. They were very eager to start their next grades.
our normal ethos of BLC is integrated teaching and learning processes, which we continued this year as well. But apart from that, we made a few changes in the timetable. We added a few classes for different life skills and academics. Two of those classes are PE and yoga, which students did once a week. Other two classes we added were logic and problem solving, where students are given some problem, a real life problem or a made up problem, and they try to solve it using their mathematical, scientific, and analytical skills. Children love that period a lot. Our regular tinkering period is still going on, and they are getting better and better in that too. I am very proud to announce one thing is we are an official center for conducting Olympiads exam as well. This year we conducted Science, Maths and English Olympiad exams as well as Marathi Bhasha Foundation Olympiad exam. Many of our students have appeared for those exams. Apart from SOF, our students were always given opportunities to go in other competitions like group song competition we did this year, inter-school group song competition. We went and participated in that. When we say games, we introduced game spirit. So initially when we started, students thought that they are going to play video games in the school because games is equal to video games nowadays. But we included that period for board games, which students are not playing at all at home. That's what we got the feedback from when we talked to them. So in this term, we introduced game spirit, where children are given board games to play, Sapshidi, Monopoly, and some marbles, everything, and they play board games in that. Sometimes they get bored and we tell them that it's okay to get bored also. So they just sit for 5-10 minutes. We want to inculcate that habit as well, that it's not necessary to entertain themselves for every minute of the day. There is one more experience we gave to the students this year is going to the farm and enjoying the activities what farmers do, or enjoying themselves, like climbing on trees, picking fruits, picking fresh vegetables. Hurda, खूप जणांना हुरडा काय असतं आणि काय करतात हेच माहिती नव्हतं. So we took them to the farm, Borkar farms, and they had a very good time over there for the whole day. I would also like to share that we are relatively more active on social media this year. So we are regularly updating our Facebook, Instagram and YouTube channels. So I request all the parents to regularly visit these channels, like, share and subscribe, and keep on spreading the message. Now, without taking much time, I would like to call Rupashri ma'am to tell us about today's theme and how the students were involved and everything, the process she will explain. Thank you.
Parents, thank you very much, Nivedita ma'am. Well, so as you all know, everything at BLC is driven by thought, that is driven by child-centered methodology, and everything revolves around how children can learn the best. And so is the annual concert. So this is no exception to it. Therefore, in the annual concert, children are just as involved as the teachers are in crafting the whole process, and in fact, perhaps more. Those parents who were with us last year, you have seen how children were involved at every step in creating our production of Ramayana. And it was also a project of the Hindi subject for the secondary students. Similarly, this year too, the annual concert has been a project of social science and English. We realized that most of the students, this Gen Z now, do not know much about India's history of independence. I guess we have come too far away from that event now. And the sacrifices that were made, the significance of the privileges that they have, which they don't even know is a privilege, to be honest. Even for the secondary students, some part of it is there in their curriculum, but we thought it was not really enough. And so we embarked on this process. And as always, the process started way before. We started the process in September, October month. Before we broke for Diwali, our 8th grader, Shubhra, since a lot of this was part of her history syllabus at that time, she gave a very interesting PowerPoint-based presentation to the whole school, right from grade 1 to grade 7. She gave that presentation to everybody about what happened because of which, or what were the reasons because of which India actually got conquered and we started getting ruled by the British. Now everyone was listening to this presentation quite intently. But there were also some very innocent questions that came from the little ones, like, but ma'am, who is Mahatma Gandhi? Yeah, these were actual questions. And ma'am, what is the meaning of independence? And so we realized that what we are doing is actually right. We have done the right thing by taking up this as the theme for the concert. Just like last year, this year also, the entire script has been written by our 6th, 7th and 8th grade students with just a little bit of polishing that we teachers have helped them in. The script is arranged in a chronological order of events. So what we did was each student was assigned the period of 1 decade. We have covered the period from 1857, which was the first uprising, up to 1947, when India got freedom. And every student had 1 decade. The salient events in that decade, they were researched by the students themselves with possibly some help from your all parents. This was, of course, part of their social science activity. But then they also had to think about how to put down this research in the form of a dramatized script. Some parts would go as narration, some parts should go up as a skit or a drama, and that too within the given time limit for each scene that they were given. Now this was a great project in terms of application of language skills. Since most of the script is in English, there was initially some reluctance as to write the script in English, but with a little nudging, with a little guidance, and of course we gave them some liberty of keeping a lot of important lines in Indian languages. But after all that, they have done it, and they've done it really well. And I'm sure you all, as well as they themselves, will be very proud of their work. We saw some amazing results of this process. The chronology is now quite clear in the minds of the children. In fact, our 3rd grader, Manan, I'm just going to share some anecdotes. There were many results, but I've just picked a few to share here today. Our 3rd grader, Manan, he was able to relate to the time periods. For example, when he was reading a book about Titanic episode, which happened in 1912, he quickly related to it and said, oh, that means that time British were ruling India. So he now knows exactly the period when the British were in India. Little Tara, when she realized that the lines, it was a huge line that she had to speak, and a pretty complicated English line. But when she realized that it is a line written by Sarojini Devi Naidu herself in her own diary, she was so motivated to learn it. She sat and learned the whole line during the practice in 1 hour, oblivious to the entire hullabaloo around her of the practice. And she had learned it by heart. Even our little grade 1 and 2 students who are in Jallianwala Bagh scene, when I was telling them about the scene, they were not able to fully comprehend. So they asked me, can you ma'am show us a video of this event? Now this, of course, this is a little dangerous, but I showed them a toned down animated version of the events of Jallianwala Bagh. And after watching that video, their commitment towards the practice of that scene and the expressions that came was definitely much higher. They asked questions like, why did people jump off the well? Which was said in the video. And when we told them the reason, Sarah's eyes practically welled up as she added that, oh, that means it was for self-respect. Okay, she was amazed to know that people could do this for their self-respect. Children who are playing the roles of British officers today, they have experimented even with accent, as you will notice. Even the props, they have been made, children have contributed significantly towards making of the props, and they have been made with such attention to detail. Our grade 6, 7, 8 students, the secondary students, have shown very high sense of ownership for the concert play. They have participated in finalizing the casting. In many scenes, They have participated in giving a lot of suggestions for direction, what kind of music to use they have suggested, and their passion was quite evident as they found out about a lot of other freedom fighters as well, whose contribution, some of whose contribution we could not really include in the play today, simply in the interest of time. And so they were coming and questioning, why are we not including this particular hero? Why are we not including this particular freedom fighter? And there are so many. It's hard to include them all in 1 hour. So that's the answer to that. This is only the beginning. This journey will not end here. There are so many people whose contributions obviously we could not cover in the interest of time. But we focused more on the events that they are reading about primarily as part of their social studies. But we will continue to explore this subject every year in more and more details through Independence Day event and celebrations. So we plan that each Independence Day we should dedicate it to one hero, which we could not include in today's play. That is what we have decided now. And I would also like to add that our aim is only to help them realize the importance of the privileges that they enjoy. It is not to spread hatred towards any other country or people. So to conclude, let me just say, this has been a very complex production. There are so many characters. Every child is playing multiple roles. They are switching their roles sometimes in minutes, sometimes even in seconds. This is not an easy task for that age group. So please be very, very generous in appreciating their immense efforts. Feel free to give as many hoots, whistles, claps as you can during the play to encourage them. You're most welcome to do that. And without much further ado, let's, you're ready to start? Okay, so let's start. We are now ready to begin Azaadi, the saga of India's freedom struggle.
Oh God, it's so hot here in India. I wish I was back at my house in America. The weather there is just awesome. I don't like this country. I know, right? I don't know how people even survive here. And the traffic is just terrible. Plus the roads are disastrous, disgusting, utterly despicable. And there are just so many people. Every place is crowded. Plus Indian people are ugly, man. Wherever they go, they carry filth around them. It's like the whole country is a trash can. I know guys. Let's stop wasting our time talking about this country and go somewhere else. It's so hot here.
मेरे बच्चों, क्या मैं इतनी बुरी हूँ? क्या तुम्हें मैं अपनी भारत माता प्रिय नहीं हूँ? What have I done to deserve this? Don't you know how much my children fought for me, for their motherland? Millions of my children died just to give you all a better life and a beautiful country to live in. उन वीर पुत्रों के उपकार है मुझ पे, तुम पे, जिनके कारण तुम सब आज यहाँ चैन से जी पा रहे हो. तुम कैसे समझ पाओगे उस खून के एक एक कतरे की कीमत जिसे मेरे उन सपूतों ने मेरे लिए बहाया है? अरे तुम क्या जानो 200 साल पहले क्या हुआ था? 200 साल पहले The story of India's independence. A story of shackled days and stifling nights. This is the story of those countless freedom fighters on whose shoulders India stood to witness the dawn of independence. The cruel, vicious and oppressive face of the British colonial empire was the East India Company. They spared no one. The farmers were tortured.
Why didn't you pay the taxes yet?
Sir, the yield this year was not good. I don't have food to fill my own stomach. How should I pay you?
How dare you talk back to me? Soldiers, take him! Ah! Ah!
Ah!
The common people.
Hey! How dare you come out of your house when there's a curfew? Soldiers, shoot them! Ah!
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 The soldiers too.
देखो इन गोरे सिपाहियों को जलसे का मजा उठा रहे हैं, मेजबानी खा रहे हैं और हमें सिपाही होने के बावजूद चपरासियों की तरह खड़ा किया गया है।
काम हम करें, मजे ये मारे।
इन्हें रहने के लिए आलीशान मकान दिए जाते हैं। हमारे लोग इनके घर में नौकर बन के रहते हैं। या हमारी पोस्ट सेम होने के बावजूद हम झोपड़ियों में रहते हैं।
हमें हमारी तनख्वाह भी पूरी नहीं मिलती। हमारे बच्चे भूखमरी के शिकार हो रहे हैं, फिर भी हम इनकी गुलामी कर रहे हैं।
The sepoys of the company were provided with new Enfield rifles.
Soldiers, this is the new rifle, and it is the world's best rifle. And this is the cartouche. It contains the bullet as well as the gunpowder. First, bite the cartouche off with your teeth. Then empty the cartouche inside the rifle. Then press it firmly and fire. Now I want one of you to come in the front and demonstrate it to the others. I asked you to come in the front and demonstrate.
Sir, we can't use the new cartouche.
What?
The cartouches are made from the skin of cows and pigs, and it is against our religion.
What is this nonsense? Why would I care about your religion? You have to follow my orders.
Sir, we cannot do this.
The cartouche had to be peeled off by teeth. This was against the religious sentiments of the Hindu and the Muslim sepoys, as the cartouches were made out of the skin of cows and pigs. In these circumstances, to oppose the British, the first call for the historic revolt of 1857 was given by a brave soldier, Mangal Pandey.
सरफरोशी की तमन्ना अब हमारे दिल में है।
मैं जानता हूँ, मैंने जो आग शुरू की है वो ऐसे ही फैलते रहेगी और एक दिन इन गोरों को मेरा वतन छोड़ के ही भागना पड़ेगा।
में है
Mangal Pandey's martyrdom was the spark that ignited this wildfire. And soon enough, the whole country was ablaze with revolt. Sepoys from Meerut reached Delhi and proclaimed Bahadur Shah Zafar as the Emperor of India and led the revolt under his banner. A fire had sparked in Maharashtra too.
Look, Lord Dalhousie, I need my kingdom back. Why should I give you your kingdom back? Under the doctrine of lapse, you, as the adopted son of Bajirao Peshwar II, have no right over the kingdom. It is now the company's property.
But my father has stated me the next heir of the kingdom.
I do not care about anyone's will. Rules are rules, and you have to follow them.
If you can't give me my kingdom back, at least give me my father's pension.
We can't give it to you. You have no right over it.
Nana Sahib, what did the British say about the kingdom?
They refused to give me back my kingdom, Tatya. They refused even the pension.
Nana Sahib, we have to do something. We can't sit like this, hand on hand. We have to fight. And I, Tatya Tope, will support you, no matter what.
After defeating the British soldiers in Kanpur, Tatya Tope went to Jhansi to meet his childhood friend and a great warrior, Rani Lakshmi Bai.
भैया यहाँ कैसे आना है? मनु, हमें जंग लड़ने जाना है। सब जगह उठाव हो रहे हैं। हमें ग्वालियर जीतने जाना है। हाँ भैया, मैंने कानपुर में आपने जीती हुई लड़ाई के बारे में सुना। जब तक लोहा गर्म है, हथौड़ा मार देना चाहिए। सही कहा, हमें जंग की तैयारियां शुरू करनी चाहिए।
After winning the war at Gwalior, Rani Lakshmi Bai had a new challenge in front of her. The British had attacked her fort at Jhansi. She was going to fight. This was a situation of do or die.
भाग भाग रे भाग फिरंगी, झांसी की रानी आई है, भाल तिलक और हाथ खड़क दुर्गा।
मैं मेरी झांसी नहीं दूंगी। हर हर महादेव,
हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव।
शोले बरसेंगे अब तुझ पर, तेरी शामत आई है। शक्ल नयन की तार तो देखो, मुझ पर आरी बार तो देखो, तेरे शीश को लेने आई झांसी की रानी।
सरफरोशी की तमन्ना।
the British crushed these revolutionaries. Delhi fell. Zafar was arrested, sent to Rangoon. His family was killed. Many Indians lost their lives. The uprising of 1857 failed because it was not an organized effort. There was no leader. But the people of India were not going to be quiet for long. Although there was a lull for about 40 years, the fire rekindled. 1891. The Anglo-Manipuri War is one of the most important events in the history of Manipur. In the war against the British, many martyrs of Manipur laid down their lives to save the dignity of their motherland. One of them was Major Pauna Brijbashi.
You are a brave soldier, Palmer. We can spare your life if you agree to stop your movement and join our forces. Over my dead body, I will not betray my people. Think again, Palmer. You will pay for this decision with your life.
If that is the price of my love for my motherland, I am happily willing to pay it.
Pay for it then. Pauna Brijbashi to be executed, to be hanged until death.
And on the fateful day of 13th August 1891, the martyrs of Manipur were hanged in front of the public at Fidabang, presently known as Bir Tikendrajit Park. Patriots' Day is observed every year on August 13th as a tribute to these brave martyrs. The anti-British sentiment was spreading even in the tribal areas. In the parts of Bengal we know as Jharkhand today, Birsa Munda was a brave tribal man who revolted against the injustice of the British Empire. Birsa Munda revolted against the unfair land grabbing practices by local authorities that demolished the tribal conventional land system. Birsa had to do something.
My dear friends, we cannot be cowards. These Britishers are grabbing our lands, making us pay taxes for giving them forestry products. How do we even agree with this? What should we do now?
Now we revolt.
Abua Raj ete jana, Maharani Raj tundu jana.
Abua Raj ete jana, Maharani Raj tundu jana.
Abua Hadi Shomre, Abua Haraj.
Abua Hadi Shomre, Abua Haraj.
Abu Aharaj ete jana, Maharani Raj tundu jana. Let the kingdom of the queen be ended and our kingdom be established. Abu Ahadi Shomre, Abu Aharaj. Our country, our rule. These slogans are still remembered in the areas of Jharkhand, Odisha, Bihar, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. Birsa Munda also played an important role in stopping the convergence of tribal people, though the movement faded away after Birsa's death. People in Bihar, Jharkhand kept the revolt on.
In the first decade of 20th century, there was a massive rise in nationalism, and its center was Bengal. So, Lord Curzon, a British officer, thought of stopping this by dividing Bengal.
This partition of Bengal has made massive resettlement. We Hindus have moved to the east, and you Muslims have moved to the west. Yes, I think it is better for us to stay together. Only then we can put up a fight against the Britishers.
The people of Bengal reunited to protest. Around the same time, Britishers had put a curfew in the state of Maharashtra to forbid people from meeting each other and holding public discussions to plan their revolutionary activities. But in Mumbai, Lokmanya Bala Gangadhar Tilak started raising awareness. He had plans.
We have to do something.
भेटलो नाही तर क्रांतिकारी चळवळ चालवणार कशी? लोकांपर्यंत ही चळवळ पोहोचणार कशी?
एक मार्ग आहे. We'll start our own press, our own newspaper in our own language, Marathi, and we will call it Kesari.
Yes, this is a good idea. This we do. This is good. It will help in updating everyone.
But what about meeting? How can we plan? त्यावरही मार्ग आहे. गणेशोत्सव येत आहे. आपण हा सण धार्मिक न ठेवता सार्वजनिक करायचा. The British cannot object it since it is religious. But for us, it is an opportunity to meet each other and discuss our plans. स्वराज्य हा माझा जन्मसिद्ध हक्क आहे आणि तो मी मिळवणारच.
वाह, काय उत्तम कल्पना आहे.
Tilak's maverick solutions and progressive thinking played a big role in India's struggle for freedom.
To appease the Bengali sentiment, Bengal was reunited by King George V in 1911 in response to the Swadeshi movement. While this happened, the British sentenced Tilak to prison for 6 years because he rebelled against the British rules. मगर अब ये आग बुझने वाली नहीं थी. In Bengal, leaders like Tagore were already dreaming of a free India. He sat down on his chair on the veranda, a book on his lap, and the day's last sun rays fell on the book. He sat there calm and composed while writing.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंग.
In 1911, Tagore had already composed the song that would become the national anthem of a free India. Meanwhile, some years ago, far away at the other end of the earth in South Africa, a simple, frail Indian barrister was traveling by a train. And little did he know, and little did we know, that this small incident will ignite such a fire in him that a Mahatma will be created, a soul that guided and continues to guide not just India but the whole world.
Excuse me, sir. How long have you been in South Africa?
A week?
I don't know how you got a ticket.
Excuse me, but just what are you doing here in first class, Kuli?
Why, I have a ticket right here. That too, a first class ticket. See?
Well, I don't know how you got this ticket, but you need to go to third class where you belong.
But I am an attorney and I always travel by first class.
There are no colored attorneys in South Africa, so go and sit where you belong.
Sir, I'll take your luggage bag. Is that fine? No, leave it where it is. Just a moment.
See, Mohandas K. Gandhi, attorney at law. I'm on my way to Victoria to conduct a case for an Indian trading firm. Didn't you hear me? to bar in London and enrolled at the High Court of Chancery. I am therefore an attorney, and since I am coloured in your eyes, I may be the first coloured attorney in South Africa. Smart Kaku. Go back to third class right now, or I will throw you out at the next station. But I've always travelled first class. I'm an attorney, but you can't do this to me. I'm an attorney, but I was called to bar in London. Wait, you are coloured. No, there are no coloured attorneys in South Africa.
I challenge not your way of life, but the injustice that stains it. We are all equal in the eyes of the divine. Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon.
This incident was the start of a new thought process in Gandhiji. He eventually came back to India and led the movement of a free India, Azaad Hindustan. One of the first major movements led by him was the Champaran Satyagraha, the Indigo Revolution. The British Raj forced the farmers to plant indigo against their will instead of better paying crops like rice.
Time has come for us to reclaim our dignity. The British landlords are exploiting us, forcing us to grow indigo against our will.
But Bapu, if we refuse to plant indigo, they torture us. What can we do?
Fear not, we shall fight this injustice together. This is our Satyagraha, a fight for truth and justice. The British must realize that we will not be slaves to their whims any longer. We will plant what sustains us, not what enslaves us.
You will obey our orders or face the consequences. This indigo is our business, and you are here to serve us.
Our service is to truth and justice. We shall not bow to unjust demands. We demand the right to cultivate what we want.
What do we do now, Bapu?
Violence is not the solution. We choose non-violence. We shall resist peacefully, with our heads held high.
What if they arrest us?
Arrests will not break our spirit. Our non-violent resistance will echo across the nation and inspire change.
Mahatma Gandhi ki jai! Mahatma Gandhi ki jai! Mahatma Gandhi ki jai!
Inspired by Gandhiji's work, another strong leader, Vallabhbhai Patel, led the farmers in Gujarat. The poor farmers were devastated by the high taxes they had to pay on their produce.
My brothers and sisters, I have come to stand by you in this time of crisis. The British have imposed taxes that are impossible for us to bear. But fear not, for together we shall face this injustice.
But Patel bhai, the taxes are too high. We cannot pay. They will take our lands.
We will not let them take away what is rightfully ours. We must unite and fight for our land and our dignity.
Patel organized a meeting with the British officials responsible for tax collection.
You will pay the taxes as mandated by the government. There will be no exceptions.
These farmers work tirelessly to feed their families and the nation. We cannot let them suffer. We demand justice, not oppression.
What happened, Patel bhai?
Our strength lies in non-violent resistance. हम बापू के दिखाए हुए रास्ते पे चलेंगे. We will withhold the payment of taxes until our demands are met.
We will stand united. No more endless taxes. No more oppression.
We have to think differently. I have a plan. On the day of tax collection, when the British officials come to the village, the entire village should be empty. Let them collect taxes from empty houses. Lailo taro lagan, khali ghar mati.
The peaceful movement forced the British authority to return the land taken away from the farmers. Vallabhbhai Patel's effort to bring the farmers together brought him a new title, Sardar. And then, on 13th April 1919, a black day in the history of India, the unspeakable happened. A large peaceful crowd had gathered at the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, Punjab, for the annual Baisakhi fair to protest against the Rowlatt Act and the arrest for their leaders Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu. Rowlatt Act authorized the British government to arrest anybody suspected of terrorist activities, detain them for 2 years without trial, and search without warrant.
ना दलील ना अपील ना वकील वाले, इस काले कानून को हम बिल्कुल नहीं मानेंगे। रॉलेट एक्ट को हम नहीं मानेंगे। डॉक्टर सतपाल और किचलू की गिरफ्तारी को हम अजय नहीं जाने देंगे।
ये संघर्ष हम जारी रखेंगे और ये संघर्ष तब तक जारी रहेगा जब तक हमारे 2 नेता रिहा ना हो जाए और रॉलेट एक्ट को वापस नहीं लिया जाता।
In response to the public gathering, the temporary Brigadier General R.E.H. Dyer surrounded the people with his Gurkha and Sikh infantry regiments of the British Indian Army.
हम इन लोगों से डरने वाले नहीं हैं।
और डरने की कोई लोड़ नहीं है। बैठो बैठो,
याद करो गुरु गोविंद सिंह को। बैठो बैठो।
Should we issue a warning, sir?
No, they have already have their warnings. No meetings. Now let them pay for their disobedience.
ओ बैठो बैठो।
Today, firing position.
ओ बैठो खालसा नहीं बैठो।
Fire!
The Jallianwala Bagh could only be exited on one side, as its other 3 sides were enclosed by buildings. After blocking the exit with his troops, he ordered them to shoot at the crowd, continuing to fire even as the protesters tried to flee. The troops kept on firing until their ammunition was exhausted. Estimates of those killed vary from 379 to 1,500 or more people, and over 1,200 other people were injured. A hail of bullets, a massacre in the name of authority. As the echoes of gunfire subsided, a nation's soul trembled with grief. This would give rise to a young revolutionary whom the British government would dread, Bhagat Singh.
जुर्म का जवाब मैं देते रहूंगा।
The third decade of 20th century marked a new awakening in the independence struggle. Mahatma Gandhi led the non-violent, non-cooperation movement.
We want Swaraj and self-governance, but we will get it in a non-violent manner. A handful of British officers are ruling millions of Indians. They rely on our cooperation. If we refuse to cooperate, they will have to leave. हम असहयोग आंदोलन
This is a great idea. Where did this run?
This is unheard of. Will it work?
We have to trust Babu.
Yes, he has got us results so far.
This movement captured the imagination of the masses.
मैं मोतीलाल आप सबको आह्वान करता हूँ अंग्रेजी स्कूल और कॉलेज में दाखिला ना करें boycott British education
मैं चित्रंजन दास आप सबसे आह्वान करता हूँ अंग्रेजों की नौकरी ना करें
हम बापू के बताए हुए रास्ते पे चलेंगे कपड़े स्वदेशी ही पहनेंगे replace all foreign goods with स्वदेशी goods
विदेशी हटाओ स्वदेशी अपनाओ विदेशी हटाओ स्वदेशी अपनाओ विदेशी हटाओ स्वदेशी अपनाओ विदेशी हटाओ स्वदेशी अपनाओ
Gandhiji withdrew the non-cooperation movement when there was a violent confrontation between protesters and the police in 1922. Many people were disappointed by this decision, but some radical revolutionaries had their own plan. Rampa led a violent tribal movement against Madras Forest Act. In Kakori train, the Hindustan Republican Association looted the money bags being transported in a train to British Treasury. There were also radical protests against the Simon Commission. The commission was composed entirely of British members, with not a single Indian member being included in it.
Simon, go back! Simon, वापस जाओ! Simon, go back! Simon, वापस जाओ! Simon, go back! Simon, वापस जाओ! Simon, go back! Simon, वापस जाओ!
Revolutionaries across the country were ready to sacrifice everything they had. One of them was Bhagat Singh, the young boy who never forgot the incident of Jallianwala Bagh and kept the fire burning in him. In December 1928, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru plotted the assassination of the Superintendent of Police, James Scott, in Lahore to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, the nationalist leader of the famous Lal Bal Pal tribe.
Oh, there is a mistake. We have killed Saunders instead of James Scott. Okay, you both find a place to hide. I will also escape to Calcutta. I will shave my beard and cut my hair. We will have to escape in disguise.
बट यारा तू तो सिख है.
मेरी भारत माँ से बढ़कर मेरे लिए कुछ नहीं है.
In April 1929, Singh met Batukeshwar Dutt. The plan was to fight against the unjust bills passed by the British government in the assembly.
बटुक भाई, अब हमें सेंट्रल असेंबली में धमाका करना. This assembly has passed the Public Safety Bill. It allows any Indian to be detained without trial.
just on suspicion. And then there is the trade dispute bill. Under this, we cannot do any protest, not even a non-violent strike. This is a direct attack on India's nationalism.
हम गुलाम नहीं हैं, वक्त आ गया है ये दिखाने का कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं. It takes a loud noise to make the deaf know. तो कर दे धमाका, कर दे धमाका.
Bhagat Singh hurled bombs in the Central Assembly Hall in Delhi and raised the slogan of Inqilab Zindabad.
Vande Mataram! Inqilab Zindabad! 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 Vande Mataram! Inqilab Zindabad!
Bhagat Singh's comrades, Sukhdev and Rajguru, were also arrested.
(1930 to 1940). A lot happened in this period. The Satyagraha strategy led by Gandhiji seems to be working. An important part of it was the Salt Satyagraha of 1930. It started as non-violent protest against the unjust salt tax imposed by the British government in India. The salt laws made it illegal for Indians to collect, produce or sell salt. On 31st January 1930, Gandhiji wrote a letter to Lord Irwin requesting him to roll back the act.
Gandhi is getting ahead of himself. Look at his demands. Reduce the rate of land revenue, reduce military expenditure, release political prisoners, abolish salt tax.
Next to air and water, salt is perhaps the greatest necessity of life. This high tax on salt hurts the poorest Indians the most. We demand that the Salt Act be abolished. We refuse to obey this law as we will produce our own salt.
We'll see about that. That is simply not possible. If we rule the country, then it's our rules. Porter, send this message to Gandhi.
Well, then we will have to resort to salt satyagraha.
साथ अगर हैं तो काफी हैं हम.
On 12th March 1930, Gandhiji started this march with 78 of his trusted volunteers. The march spanned 387 kilometers from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Sarojini Naidu. She was a prominent Indian poet and writer who played a significant role in the Indian independence movement. She was also called the Nightingale of India for her lyrical poetry. She went to London in 1990 as a part of All India Home Rule League, as a part of her continued efforts to advocate for freedom from the British rule. Naidu joined Gandhi's Satyagraha movement of non-violent resistance against the British rule.
हम भी आपके साथ चलेंगे बापू.
तुझसे ही तो जिंदा हूँ मैं, ओ मेरे हिंदो.
little lawbreaker is sitting in a state of mourn, writing his article of triumph for young India. And I am stretched on a hard bench on an open window, open to the sea breeze. As far as the eye can see, there is a little army, thousands of pilgrims who have been pouring in since yesterday to this otherwise deserted and exceedingly primitive village of fishermen.
Meanwhile, Peshawar, Northwest Frontier Province, British India, on 23rd April 1930, was one of the defining moments of independence movement. It was the first major confrontation between the British Indian Army and demonstrators in the city, belonging to Abdul Ghaffar Khan's non-violent Khudai Khidmatgar movement, also called Lal Kurti movement. Its aim was to support the civil disobedience movement launched by Gandhiji.
To me, non-violence has come to represent a panacea for all the evils that surround my people. So, I am devoting all my energy towards the establishment of a society that should be based on principles of truth and peace.
On March 23, 1931, revolutionary freedom fighters Bhagat Singh, Shivram Rajguru and Sukhdev Thapar were hanged to death at the Lahore jail by the British government for their activities.
मेरा रंग दे मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला माए रंग दे मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला माए रंग दे मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला रंग दे रंग दे रंग दे बसंती चोला माए रंग दे
कभी वतन के लिए सोच के देख लेना, कभी माँ के चरण चूम के देख लेना। कितना मज़ा आता है मरने में यारो, कभी मुल्क के लिए मर के देख लेना।
हम अपने खून से लिखे कहानी है वतन मेरे, करे कुर्बान हंसकर ये जवानी है वतन मेरे।
मरकर भी मेरे दिल से वतन की उल्फत नहीं निकलेगी, मेरे मिट्टी से भी वतन की ही खुशबू आएगी।
इस दुनिया को बतलाने तेरे लाल चले हैं माए।
वंदे मातरम, इनकलाब जिंदाबाद। वंदे मातरम, इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
दिल से निकलेगी ना मर कर भी वतन की उल्फत।
This day is observed as Martyrs' Day in India. However, as a result, the concept of freedom through satyagraha spread like wildfire. Achama Cherin in Kerala, Vinoba Bhave in Maharashtra, many individual satyagrahis were arrested.
In the 5th decade of the 20th century, a very important event happened, the World War II. Two streams of revolutionaries were working parallelly towards the same objective, Azaadi. The Quit India movement was a clear demand of an end to the British rule in India. Indians were boycotting the British government. They were rejecting the transactions involving the government. Various violent incidents took place around the country. The British had tens of thousands of leaders, keeping them imprisoned until 1945.
We shall either free India or die in the attempt. We shall not live to see the perpetuation of our slavery. Let that be our pledge. The mantra for this is very easy, my friends. Do or die. Karo ya maro.
Do or die.
there was a parallel movement led by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He believed that non-violence alone will not get India the freedom it deserves.
Welcome, Mr. Bose. You have finally arrived in Japan.
Thank you very much.
We have not disclosed to anyone that you are here in Japan.
Good. I shall now see the Prime Minister, General Tojo.
This way, sir.
Welcome, boss son. Please have a seat.
General Tojo, this is a very serious time for India. We need your support. I want the Japanese troops and the Indian troops to invade India together.
5 जुलाई 1943 को आज़ाद हिंद फौज का विधिवत संगठन हुआ और उसकी बागडोर नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस ने संभाली।
कदम कदम बढ़ाए जा, खुशी के गीत गाए जा, ये जिंदगी है कौम की, तू कौम पे लुटाए जा। कदम कदम बढ़ाए जा, खुशी के गीत गाए जा, ये जिंदगी है कौम की, तू कौम पे लुटाए जा।
वो खून कहो किस मतलब का जिसमें उबाल का नाम नहीं, वो खून कहो किस मतलब का आ सके देश के काम नहीं। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा।
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
Ultimately, the British government realized that India was ungovernable in the long run. After the war, it was just about how to exit gracefully and peacefully. Finally, on 15th August 1947, India became independent from the British Empire. The handover of power was overseen by Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of India. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India and raised the Indian national flag above the Lahori Gate of the Red Fort in Delhi in honor of the celebrations.
Years ago, we tasted it with history, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not fully or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. Freedom.
तो बच्चों, देखिए ये आजादी की कहानी। Children, it is easy for you to find faults because you got this very easily. You never had to fight for a basic right like freedom, so you take it for granted. पर मेरे उन बच्चों का बलिदान मत भूलो जिन्होंने ये आजादी तुम्हें दिलवाई है।
हमें माफ करो भारत माता, हमें हमारी भारत माँ पे गर्व है। भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की
सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी। हमने कहा है, तुम भी कहो। हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो।
आओ हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा, अपना जहां है सबसे प्यारा। आओ हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा, अपना जहां है सबसे प्यारा।
हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो। हिंदुस्तानी हिंदुस्तानी
तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक, जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Parents, please be seated. I'll give you some instruction regarding the dispersal. Kids will join you from the swing itself, from the wings.